Hey, everybody. Before we begin the show, I wanted to give a shout out to our friends at PowerPool. PowerPool is a mining pool and is one of the most profitable for miners. So if you have one miner at home or a fleet of miners at scale, point your workers to PowerPool to enjoy the best payouts. PowerPool supports a number of algorithms, SHA-256 for Bitcoin, X11 for Dash, and others. And of course, we're focused and we care about the most, S-crypt for Litecoin, Dogecoin, and now Bell's Coin, merge mining. Pointing your workers to PowerPool is easy with its simple user interface, and the platform also has all the reporting available that your operation needs. Typically, PowerPool extends a low 1% pool fee. However, if you register with the 84 million link in the show notes, you will lock in a sub 1% pool fee, which is excellent. Cheers, happy mining. Hello and welcome to the 84 Million Podcast. Today we're on episode number 35, and today we have with us Mr. ANML Litecoin. So let me give an introduction here. ANML Litecoin is a script or S-crypt maxi. He's a stem cell advocate and former co-host of Litecoin Underground, now called the Populist Block, and he can be found on X at ANML_Litecoin. ANML, good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So before
It's a
pleasure to have you. Before we dive into the topic, I'm remembering that I got something very special from you in Nashville, and it was in a small vessel, small metal vessel, and it was maple syrup. And I'm wondering if I can get more maple syrup.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Last year, forget what it was that Loshine did, but he provided some kind of fix, and in the thread, I bribed him with maple syrup. So yeah, I ended up bringing a bunch of little travel, TSA allowable vessels of maple syrup. And I gave one to you. I think, I gave a couple out. I brought like 8 or so. Maybe I'll bring some more this year. I think it's a nice tradition.
I think it is a tradition, and you established it in Nashville. And of course, why were we in Nashville? How did I meet you in real life? Not on X. It was at the Litecoin Summit last year in July, which was really great. And seeing that we're coming up on another one later this month, maybe we can kind of reminisce and highlight last year's event to maybe encourage some folks who may be sitting on the fence and don't have a ticket to maybe go to litecoin.com/summit and buy a ticket for $84. So what stuck out to you last year at the Litecoin Summit?
I mean, it's always fun to meet in the meet space, right? Like, I want to say there were a ton of great speakers, right? Peter McCormick, we had Phil Zimmerman, Naomi Brockwell, a bunch of great people. And for $84, it's a heck of a deal. This year we have a bunch of great speakers as well. But yeah, I would say the best and the most interesting part about it was definitely meeting people in real life. I had been speaking with Grant for a couple of years at that point, but it was the first time we met. So that was cool. Met Sad Frog, Loshan, Indigo, obviously Charlie. Johnny Litecoin, right?
Yeah, Johnny Litecoin,
John Kim, yourself. It was fun just meeting everyone for the first time. It's a tight-knit community, really. And I guess because we've all been through, as Litecoiners, kind of like rocky seas, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following Litecoin for a while, and saw it rise up to 420 and then drop down to 20. And so those, there's some, I guess we're kind of trauma bonded in a way.
You lived. We lived.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's just cool to see everyone. I hadn't been really involved with the Litecoin community at all up until COVID, spending so much time at home. And it really felt like the conversation shifted from Reddit and other places to being specifically on Twitter at the time. And And with the spaces becoming a thing and being able to speak with people, ask questions, Charlie would show up, talk to Charlie, ask him questions. It really made the community feel more real in a sense and approachable. And so yeah, like just coming to Nashville after being part of Litecoin Underground spaces for 2 years at the time. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. It was
It's a good time. Yeah.
It is a really good time, and I look forward to seeing you there. I hope in Las Vegas. Are you going?
For sure, definitely. Yeah. I got my ticket, and it was fun last year. Another fun aspect of it was that because they line it up with the Bitcoin conference, you'll encounter a bunch of Bitcoiners as you go out outside of the summit area, the conference space. And yeah, wearing Litecoin t-shirts when you're surrounded by maxis is a sure way to make new friends. Let me tell you. I highly recommend, if you do go to Vegas this year, to visit Kyle's shop, 84 million. Pick yourself up a shirt. He'll bring it with you, so you could probably save on shipping. But yeah, and wear it out, because Bitcoiners are great. I love Bitcoin. I think it's fantastic. But it's, when you're wearing a shirt, you're no lie, you're a bit of a shit disturber, right? You're gonna go out there and people are gonna be like, "What are you doing with that shirt?" It's like blasphemous, right?
Yeah. And
that's a great opportunity to convert someone.
Yeah. And I think there's some conversion opportunity, to be honest, because we were at Margaritaville in Nashville, and I remember this one younger dude coming up to me. Well, why would I be interested in Litecoin? Why are you guys even here? And I went into it with him, and actually it was a pretty easy sell. Like, all of our principles are fundamentally the same as yours, except we have privacy, and we're faster and cheaper, and we did a lot of like co-development over the years, and like they kind of can't malign their own product, right? But if they attack Litecoin, they're attacking Bitcoin on principle. Yes, I understand they're two independent cryptocurrencies, but the young maximalists have kind of like a little 3x5 card or post-it note with like what they believe, and it's not really hard to knock those things down. So you may actually have an opportunity to convert people. I don't know. It takes time, and obviously, certainly, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, certainly bring up MWeb, because what I found was that few of them even knew what it was. A lot of them heard of it before, but weren't aware that it had been implemented. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to to pitch MWeb to them, to just maybe even show it to them if you got it on your on your Cake wallet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking with a guy who's a researcher at CERN, super smart mathematician, into Bitcoin development. His name escapes me now. I think it's Rob something. Anyhow, and he had no idea that it had been implemented. And when we told him about it, he was like, "No way. Okay, cool. All right, we can be friends, I guess."
Yeah. Litecoin's doing real things in the world. I mean, how can we believe this? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, there's a lot happening on Litecoin. In fact, there's probably more happening on Litecoin. I don't think that's hyperbole. Because Bitcoin in many ways is ossifying. Now, I know there's recent talk, and I'm not really getting into the weeds of it, of the code changes in core and things like this. But either way, it'll be fun. You will see maximalists. It's inevitable. But have fun with it. In terms of, I'm going to comment on this because you brought it up, and thank you for shouting out the shop. Yes, it's open. It's always open, but I won't have a booth there. The only thing that we'll have there is some coffee from the Litecoin Coffee Club. So that's a collab with Bits. It's actually pretty cool. If you're on our email list or following us on X, on our accounts, you've been hearing a lot about it, just because on Sunday we're going to close the pre-order window. And then after that, we're just going to have a handful of bags to whoever didn't already reserve it. But we will have physical product in the shape of coffee beans. And if you like coffee, they're really good. We of course like them. And we pay our roaster on chain with Litecoin. That's pretty amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
One of these days, I hope to get him on, but he's super busy. But House Roast is awesome. And they're friends of mine. We've known each other for a real long time. So, but anyway, I won't have a full blown, shirts and tees and stuff. The Litecoin Foundation, I hope will, and certainly support them. And of course, if you wanted to buy something online, I'll be glad to ship it, and we'll get the shop rolling. And there's actually probably still time. It's January. It's May 2nd. So we're looking at the end of the month. So I think even with like fulfillment time and shipping, if you ordered now within the next week, you could probably have it in time, but no promises. But thanks again for shouting out. That's not why we're here, but glad to talk about it.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
I don't promote it on the show really at all. I mean, if anything,
okay,
when we open, I wear it, right? Litecoin, because Bits inspired me. He wore this yesterday and posted. I'm like, I haven't worn that hat yet. But we open each episode with POWERPOOL, which is a mining pool that I personally really like. And that's our kind of referral affiliate sort of deal. So if you sign up through it, you'll get a discount, but we also get a little bit of fees. So it's kind of a win-win to passively support us. And they pay you in Litecoin, and they're very pro S-crypt, which is awesome. So other folks that are running big mining pools are not exactly like that. So we want to support those that support us. But again, we digress. Let's move into, maybe before we move into the topic, which is BTCPay server merchant onboarding. You're going to show us how to do that. How's the Populist Block going with Grant?
It's going well. I mean, we kind of changed names a couple times, trying to figure out what we really want to focus on, going from Litecoin Underground to ultimately the Populist Block, just because we felt with everything happening politically, a lot of our conversations tends to go down a political path, and it really felt like that wasn't appropriate, especially since, obviously with Litecoin Underground, we don't want to be seen as representing Litecoin's values. Litecoin's apolitical. It's just math and numbers. It really doesn't care who's in power, who isn't in power, what's happening in the world. TikTok next block. That's the reality of it. As for the two of us, we're human beings living in this, this reality, trying to figure it out as best as we can. And I think it's just, I really enjoy doing it. I think it's a great opportunity to hear other people's perspectives. We went with the name Populist Block just because it is kind of an apolitical term. It could be either left-leaning or right-leaning, depending on how you slice it. In terms of crypto money and whatnot, the Walk on Wall Street movement was a populist movement, right? I thought it was
Occupy Wall Street.
Oh,
Occupy. Or was there another one on Walk on Wall Street? I remember.
You're right.
Occupy.
You're right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
there may have been.
I'm not sure.
I know Occupy. Occupy was like
2008.
Yeah.
It was a walk on something else, probably. But yeah. So whatever. We do this once a week, or try to. Trying to find guests that, fill that I guess that template. Next week, actually, I'm a stem cell advocate. I had a rotator cuff injury a couple years ago that flared up, and what made it so that my shoulder really couldn't move, right? Mm-hmm. So here in Canada, our medical system works to some degree, but for soft tissue stuff, for joints, I'd made an appointment to see a doctor in February, and she then referred me to an orthopedic surgeon. I only got a call back from the orthopedic surgeon's office sometime in March for an appointment. No, sorry, not March, May, for an appointment in November to see the surgeon, right?
Man.
In the meantime, they're just giving me painkillers, right? And the orthopedic surgeon would have just probably given me a steroid shot. And if after a couple of years that didn't improve things, we would have opted for surgery, right? And I was desperate. Anyways, long story short, I was desperate, went to Mexico, got fixed up. It changed my life. And next week, or rather tomorrow, Grant and I are going to be interviewing someone else like me who's really into regenerative medicine. And we're going to talk about stem cells and his experiences. He has a slightly different outlook. He didn't go to Mexico, but I think he might be an interesting person to listen to if you're into regenerative medicine, stem cells specifically, and you're based in the U.S. Apparently, there's some interesting options down there.
Super interesting. And I've heard about some things in Mexico, and their kind of cost system and framework is a lot different than the U.S. So maybe like we're a little in the United States is maybe a little bit freer medicine than Canada. Mexico's a lot freer than the U.S. So it's like a gradient or something. But I'm glad to hear you're finding solutions, because medical stuff and health stuff that could be a really big deal. So that's good. So you're going to tackle different topics and hopefully still bring up Litecoin here and there. I know you're a Litecoiner yet. As far as I know, Grant is still a Litecoiner. So good deal. I just wanted to check in on that because I know you guys recently launched it. So maybe we want to head into the topic now and let you take over and show us what it is we need to know about BTCPay server.
Sure. All right. Share my screen. If you don't know what BTCPay server is, it's an open source and self-hosted Bitcoin payment gateway that allows self-sovereign individuals and businesses to accept payment online, in person, without any fees. Basically, it's like a decentralized, self-sovereign version of BitPay that you run on your own, or you can have someone run for you. It's a pretty complete suite of services and different, I guess, functions for businesses. You can see here it's got all these features: direct, peer-to-peer Bitcoin payments. It also accepts obviously Litecoin, and the reason why we're talking about it is because recently Hector from the foundation created an MWeb plugin, which allows you to transact with MWeb to MWeb. You could always just do MWeb to Litecoin, but it's more fun if you keep MWeb within the MWeb pool and it doesn't escape. I think we all know that there's like 147,000 Litecoin in the MWeb extension block right now, and we want to keep it there and keep it up. So if you're using MWeb, ideally when you go to the store to buy pizza or whatever, a loaf of bread, and you're paying with MWeb, they would accept MWeb and not require you to peg it out, right? Mm-hmm. So that this whole circular economy, privacy-focused thing continues to grow. So, yeah, getting started. I mean, I have an article on X. If you go to my account, it goes through the basics as to how to set up BTCPay server.
Okay.
Real quickly, hold on a sec. Real quickly, I'm just going to go to their deployment section. It runs on all kinds of stuff. I first started with a Raspberry Pi. A lot of people have these laying around the house. It works pretty well. It's a little slow, but it'll certainly serve as a good test bed for people who want to test it out and play with it. It shows you step by step how to set it up. It's complete. Do it through Docker and all that stuff. It shows you all these things. You can read this on your own. If you go to docs.btcpayserver.org, they have a ton of documentation. This is, I think, they spent a lot of time on documentation. Their ambition is to get people up and running, and they want people to become, BTCPay server ambassadors.
Okay.
Right. They want people who are capable of setting up a BTCPay server to onboard, people in their neighborhood, right? Or merchants, like online merchants, for example. You can do a lot of stuff with webhooks. There's a Shopify integration plugin. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. It's really comprehensive. And honestly, when I discovered it, I was so impressed. It spawned from the idea of this guy, Nicolas Dorier. He's a French guy. Can't see that full post. Let me see if I can bring this in. Hold on. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Back in 2017, there was this whole block war thing. You might have heard of it. BitPay sided with, I guess, SegWit and the big block side of the block wars. To which, I guess, Nicolas replied, this is lies. My trust in you is broken. I will make you obsolete.
So that's
And
the
indeed,
inspiration. Yeah.
yeah, that is where it was born from. And I think that's pretty badass, personally. The fact that he's achieved it, and this is a project that is growing. Excuse me. I don't know if you heard my cat.
We did.
All right. Maybe she'll get out of here.
We're very pet
Sorry about
friendly.
that.
Sometimes you hear other animals with other guests and even my own, so we're all good.
Yeah, she's a great cat. She just requires a lot of attention. Um, so yeah, where was I? BTC Pay server. Um, right. So you deploy it. You can run on whatever you want. Basically, run the cloud. There's guides on how to do it if you're using Luna Node, right, or Google Cloud or whatever. If you do get stuck, I mean, look, for some things, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I can help with some things, but certainly the devs are active, and you should check out chat.btcpayserver.org. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, so the URL is chat.btcpayserver.org. The devs are present in this. It's a Mattermost server, for altcoin support, for regular support, whatever. Shoot your shot. Typically, they'll help. With altcoins, maybe not as much, but with other aspects of it, say you're running into issues with the billing or invoicing part of it, they're responsive, which is really cool.
Is the
So
primary way to get this and set it up is you're going to GitHub?
yeah, yeah. So if you look, where is it? Can't be that far. Right here. You download this thing, you get the script, the install script, you install that, download it, and then do some stuff here, and then run the install script, and it does a whole bunch of stuff, installs Docker and all the containers that you need. It's pretty complete. It does a great job. You might get stuck if you're not super technical. I would if you're not good with Linux, I would recommend doing this in Windows. It works just as well. If you're not afraid of Linux, try it with Linux. It'll run better. Like on a Raspberry Pi, you're gonna have to do this on Linux, on Raspbian.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's fun and easy. It's a fun little project. If you're at all technically inclined and this is something that you want to do, I highly recommend trying it and seeing if you can onboard anyone. Just gonna go over my instance over here. So this is the basic interface, the dashboard. See your wall balance. I hid some stuff. Not that there's anything fun to see. I'll just show the sensitive info again. We did some test transactions yesterday with $1 or 10 cents rather, and 50 cents.
Well, maybe we should talk about that. So yeah, technically this is take two. This is your top secret information for those watching and listening. But there was actually an issue that you saw yesterday because you had updated it to the newest, I guess, code base or whatever, and it was incompatible with the plugin. And we're here less than a day later, and it's working. So you reached out straight to Hector and the MWeb kind of support channel and Telegram, as far as I know, and basically it was immediately fixed. So that's pretty amazing. So yeah, we're stable friends.
Hector's he's great. He's been super responsive. Let me show you here. Yeah, last night I messaged him. We had done this before and encountered a couple of issues. Hector last night, after my response, he threw out a fix right away. You see, like another fix to allow non-admins to manage the MWeb wallet settings. So yeah, today during the demo, it should work. Fingers crossed. I tested it before.
I have my Cake wallet ready.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So yeah, maybe I can just go through and we'll show the process.
Yeah, show us how to set it up. If I'm store owner, I want to set this thing up. What do I have to do?
Okay, so first thing would be someone like me reaching out to you and being like, hey, I got a BTC Pay server thing, let's try it out. You can't really see it here. Hold on. Whoops. Can't really see here. Okay, but now you can see it. Add server. So I'm just going to go back here and create an account. I'm going to put a little password in. And doing this will send an email to the person. This is going to show up soon in this merchant's inbox. There you go. Click on it. And then it'll give them a link which they can scan on their phone, and they can go through this on the phone. That's the other thing. BTCPay server works amazingly on mobile. The web interface has been programmed almost for merchants with mobile first in mind.
Can you run the whole thing on a cell phone though? Probably not.
Yeah, if you can run Linux on a cell phone, if your cell phone supports Linux, then yeah, for sure.
So you could probably gut one and like make it happen, but it's not necessarily like an intuitive like mobile app environment or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be complicated to set like without a keyboard. You'd have to, whatever. It's doable for sure. Some phones make it easy, but yeah, I mean, cell phones are super powerful these days, and it's for sure a thing. It'd be a fun project if that's all you got to try to get it running.
Yeah,
it's really it runs off of Docker. So, and Docker runs on anything. So we're just going to sign in and create a store called demo.
It could be 84 billion. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit too creative for me right now. And so this is it. So as as a merchant, this is what you'll be encountering when you first log on, right? Nice little interface. You have your different plugins here. MWeb's already up and running. You can see it there. Say you want like a Bitcoin wallet. You should click on it, create a new wallet. This is not recommended. You would do a watch-only wallet with an XPub address, but for the sake of the demo, I'm just going to do this. Create. Boom. I wrote those down. All right. So now we've got a Bitcoin wallet up. You see a little green light. We're good to go. For the MWeb section of it, you see, it's working now.
Beautiful.
For MWeb to work, we need to insert MWeb view keys. At the moment, these are only available from within Electrum LTC with MWeb. I heard rumors that they might be implementing this in Litecoin Core. Don't quote me on that, but it's not something that should be technically difficult to do. And I think there's a couple of reasons for them to want to do it. BTCPay server being one of them. But so to get your view keys in Electrum, just go to wallet information. And here they are, my view keys. You copy those, close this out, paste it in there, and click save. By the way, if you're not familiar with Electrum, I can do this real quick. To create a new wallet, I'll go to new, wallet one, just call it that for now. Standard wallet. All right, while we're here, I don't know if you ever use multisig, but you can do multisig.
No. Yeah, I have not. In fact, I haven't used Electrum in forever. Back in the old days, it just runs super light, right?
Yeah, I mean, Electrum's great. So if you want to do a multi-sig wallet, this is where you would do it. If you pass away and you have like a will in mind, like I always thought it'd be fun to create like a little scavenger hunt for my family. Mm-hmm. Just put keys all over the world type of thing and have them work for it a bit, But I digress. You want to create a standard wallet for MWeb, create a new MWeb seed, and it'll do this. I've already done this to save us a little bit of time, which I just wasted with the multi-sig section. So we got the view keys in there. I'm going to save them. And now the next step you would do, say for your pizza joint, is you want to create a point of sale. Okay. Call it pizza joint. All right. And this is going to create a little app, little web page, which you would then give to your servers or have your servers go to on their mobile devices, which is tied to your store. So you can use this on any phone. All your servers can just go to the website. They don't need to download anything. I'm going to save this here. And yeah, you can even enable tips, for example. But even like 420 if you want as a percentage, just for fun. And yeah, that's it. You're good to go at this point. So let's put in $1. You can put some tips in there if you want. Like at this point, yeah, if you do that, it'll be too much. But yeah, just put $1 up and click charge. And if all goes well, we should see, all right, Bitcoin shows up first because I didn't configure Litecoin MWeb to show up first.
Well, that's nice that you can toggle through your supported coins.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool. Wow.
So yeah, at this point, you just, pull out your Cake wallet. I haven't synchronized mine in a couple hours, so it might take a moment.
I just did it.
Oh.
So do I have to send the exact amount? I mean, obviously the goal would be send the exact amount, and it actually already programmed it. So yeah.
You just have to scan the QR code. It's got the price.
It plugged it in already. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
boom.
Once you send it, it should be pretty quick.
Yep. I just sent.
Okay. There you go. Confetti.
Real time. I mean, somebody tell Leia Halpern that Litecoin is not slow, please. Thank you.
It's pretty quick. Of course, it's unconfirmed, but it shows, like, once it shows up on the blockchain, the server's happy, and you get the confetti, and you can go about your business. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, in a nutshell,
it was super fast.
Easy
to
set up.
That was like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I can show you what it looks like with another one. There's a cool feature. Is it going to work? Okay, there you go. Just go here and view it. Put another $1 in there. A really cool feature I like. If you have a mobile device and you're running this on your mobile device, you have Bitcoin and Lightning. It's not going to show up here, but it's NFC enabled. So if you got like some kind of a Bolts card, for example, I don't know if you've heard of these, but these Lightning cards that are tap to pay type of things, it'll work with this. And while I'm a huge fan of Litecoin and MWeb, you got to face the facts. A lot of people are Bitcoiners and use Lightning. And this is, it was purpose built for that, and it does a great job. Yeah. So anyways, that's that. It's a pretty slick product. I like it.
Yeah, I think so too. That's actually super nice. I think the only thing that I'm seeing would be just it's more technical because you got to basically build your own server and set it all up. So if a business is clueless, they'd probably want someone like you to do it for them, or they can be capable of reading in 2025, which sometimes seems to be a tall order, but cool interface. And it connects with like QuickBooks and everything else too for like bookkeeping and taxes and reporting and all that stuff.
Yeah, there are plugins for that. Yeah, it's pretty, like, if you go to your invoices here, this one we just did, you can see it's processing. You could click on it and see like all the stuff that you need. It'd be a tip amount if we had a tip in there. Taxes, if you apply taxes to your dashboard, you could do that here somewhere. I'm not sure where. It's possible to add taxes. One cool thing for MWeb that I want to bring up is that it is like the best privacy solution on BTCPay server at the moment. So there is support for Monero, right? And Zcash. You can see what you just installed the plugin, but what you'll notice is that, where is it? Yeah, so with the Zcash plugin, unfortunately, this plugin shares a single Monero wallet across all the stores on your BTC server instance. The way it works is they're not able to create multiple stores like I had here with the demo. All the Monero that would be accepted would be going to the same wallet, which I would have access to. In the case with MWeb, I don't have access to this person's wallet at all. I can't even see their store, frankly. I can't see it. And if I go to server settings and go to users, the only thing I can see is that they have one store. I can expand this they have one store demo. I guess I can see some invoices, but I can't see like any of their wallet settings. I can't interfere with any of that.
Okay.
as an administrator on the server. So there's like, they've really thought through a bunch of stuff. There's obviously really security minded, privacy minded. These guys are Bitcoiners. So yeah, they know what's up.
And that's a
And
good.
again,
I'm gonna highlight that term. They're Bitcoiners. It doesn't sound like they're maximalists, because Bitcoiners tend to work with other chains. Again, there's Dogecoin, Monero, Litecoin. Now with MWeb, which this, as far as I know, is the only like integrated payment solution with MWeb, unless you're just gonna, you know, set up your own wallet and do something on your own. I mean, anyone can build anything they want for themselves, but in terms of like a solution that's widespread, downloadable, peer reviewed, this is the only one with MWeb that I can see.
yeah, they only work on Bitcoin, but they've left space for Litecoin to do its thing. And of course they have like Monero. They did the same thing with Zcash. Again, Zcash, it's supported, but it's a single wallet across all your stores, so it's kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they're great. Like I said, they're responsive. And yeah, they're supportive of Litecoin to some degree.
Clearly,
I think it's more of a question of it being just more inconvenient for them to remove it at this point, because it doesn't really burden them at all. You can choose to include it or not. Like, it's just, it would take effort for them to remove it. But yeah, great product, great guys. And, so that's the thing. They did an update, which I foolishly updated the day before I was supposed to demo this to you. And I didn't test it again, which broke MWeb. And,
broke
in
the
a panic
MWeb
last night,
plugin. It did not break it.
it broke. Yes, it broke the MWeb plugin.
We still have never been down. Animal did not shut down the Litecoin network. Neither did Hector. Neither did BTCPay.
Yeah. I don't even think Hector could break MWeb. Maybe he could if she's got the keys. Whatever. Anyways, I don't think anyone would have let him. But yeah, the problem is this page wouldn't show up. And so Hector, did I already show this? But I think I did. Yeah, he updated it like this morning, which was really nice of him. And hopefully this doesn't happen too often. Like, I don't think it should. But they released an update, and a couple days later, Hector, fixed what was broken on the MWeb plugin side. So yeah, everyone's all's good in the world. Everyone's happy, and yeah. So that's basically all I have to share about BTCPay server. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk about this stuff, and can certainly point you in the right direction if you get stuck somewhere.
Well, that was cool. Yeah, that's definitely a nice interface. What did you spend 15 minutes showing us all of that? So it doesn't seem to be overly complicated, but it is more technical than just using Coinbase Commerce or, BitPay. So what would be your maybe comparison or compare and contrast between those two products and this one? Maybe some pros.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. So with BTCPay server, you're relying on someone like me who can set it up for you. Confirmation just occurred. But yeah, so but the thing is, it's open source. It's self-sovereign. You're in control of your keys. With BTCPay server, I don't know if it happens, but you could potentially get your account frozen, right? And if you do something maybe that they don't like, they can shut you down.
You mean BitPay, not BTCPay.
What did I say?
I think you said
BTCPay. With BitPay. Excuse me. With BitPay. I know there's I heard rumors, and I don't know if it's a rumor if they actually said it themselves this morning in the spaces, but Cake Wallet is working on a merchant app, which may have MWeb built into it as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
How is it better from that? It seems more complicated than the Cake Wallet implementation. So I don't know. I like this interface. I think the fact, like, BTCPay server is probably my favorite project, open source project. Just because it includes so many other projects. It's such a big undertaking that these guys have done. Yeah.
And they just operate on donations, is my guess. I mean, it's free to download. It's open source.
Yeah. Yeah, it's free to download. It's open source. We don't know how many people are currently using it. Like it's you can see how many people have downloaded it, but um beyond that, like no real there's no real way to count how many merchants are using BTCPay server.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's a lot. I think it is quite a few people. I don't know if it's as many as BitPay, but yeah, because it does take some doing. I know, what's it called? A couple of the guys that we interviewed on our pod, um, was it Nano GPT and was it Q? Oh my god, I'm blanking here. Paper Q. Um, these are a couple of guys. One of them, well, actually, they both just did the same thing. Used AI to compile a bunch of AI agents, and they allow users to pay with crypto to go onto their, to use their accounts on OpenAI and Gemini, and Stable Diffusion and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you can use these, LLMs without having to use your credit card, right?
Interesting.
And they both use BTCPay server in the back end. So it's,
that's a pretty big privacy upgrade for that onboarding under those services then.
Yeah. No, I really like them. PaperQ and NanoGPT. Check them out if you're interested in using these things anonymously.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool projects. Yeah, and I mean, I think Indigo's using it for one of his projects. I don't know if I can talk about it, but I played with it a bit, and I'm pretty sure I saw BTCPay server running in the back end. I think the foundation uses it.
Really? Wow. I have no idea.
It feels like they had some BTCPay server thing running last year at the conference. But yeah, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. They might use something else for the summit tickets. Yeah.
Pretty cool though. I mean, I like what I see, and it's definitely a contrast. It's more cypherpunk than the other big guys. Although we like BitPay, I've not used Coinbase Commerce, and there's probably others out there. But point of sale has basically gone backwards in crypto since, like, I don't know, 2017 or 2018, like block war, the block size wars time. After that was kind of settled, it's kind of just that whole thing went in reverse. So, I still believe that Litecoin is money, and that this is supposed to be money, moving from person to person and peer to peer. Like, I'm one peer and, pizza shop or whatever. In your case, it's going to be, maple syrup shop. You got to run the bridge. Sorry, I keep hammering you with that. It was just a special point I didn't open it for a while. I had it kind of back on my shelf, hidden with my other things for a little while, but then I finally gave it and consumed it. So now it's a meme to me, and it's a beautiful thing. Although I understand Vermont also has delicious maple syrup.
Yeah, very similar to ours, but I think ours might be better.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it's just, this BTCPay server thing is true to the P2P ethos, originally envisioned by Satoshi. And I think we should, fight for that at every step, right? And resist centralized entities.
Are we?
Principle. Are we?
I mean, we is a tough one because we is this sort of conglomerate collective, which really doesn't exist. But I feel like the space has drifted so much, and like, I've been around a long time too, and it's like, dude, there's kind of something nice and easy about these centralized services. So I mean, I use them.
True.
So it's a weird thing, because I think principally, it is there, but part of me thinks it's sort of fading. But I'm hoping you're showing us another way, that doesn't have to be this.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? To make it as convenient as your credit card.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's because I kind of lied. I don't actually, I use my credit card for practically everything. And I wish it were easier for me to use crypto, but with this, at this point with Bitcoin, and their small blocks in the Lightning Network, it's challenging. I think it's scared merchants off. They might have been into it at some point, but then they're like, okay, so this is complicated, and it's not really even layer one Bitcoin. Yeah, it was fun when it was just, you pick your phone up, or like, just do peer to peer like that. But with that 10-minute block time, and the congestion and the fees, it makes it less appealing, and it's impossible on a layer one to achieve. Whereas with Litecoin, still like we don't need a layer two. Transactions go quickly, and web transactions appear instantly, as you saw. So you get the best of. It's a better Bitcoin.
The broadcast is immediate, and you're not gonna not be confirmed. That's a poor way to say it, but confirmations always come. I mean, that's just it's just going to happen. It works every time. So I mean, but the nice thing is you can see, bam, I got the payment. I mean, you'll wait for it to confirm, but it's still, dramatically quicker to confirm than Bitcoin. So yeah, I think people are choosing Litecoin as money for digital cash.
Yeah. A lot of, I mean, that's the thing. A lot back in the day, a lot of people when transferring from one exchange to the other, they convert to Litecoin to do it, to take advantage of the arbitrage if there was like a discrepancy in the Bitcoin price, just to get there quicker. These days, I think they're doing a lot with USD or USDT, but Litecoin is still, people haven't forgotten about it.
No, the metrics are going up. I mean, just look at, again, BitPay. We talk about them a lot, but it's like 18 months now of number one. We don't have stats from BTCPay server, but I'd imagine they're getting a decent amount of traffic. Why would you support it otherwise? But we can't really comment on that. But yeah, I mean, transactions and active addresses, all these things have just only grown for Litecoin. So I think the future is very bright and luminous. But we don't get a lot of press. Right? That's gonna change, especially with ETFs and all this stuff. And I think, again, a lot of people are aware of the summit and things like that. I mean, the Litecoin account's been very, very active for probably the past 6-7 months. So, and there's a lot of collaborations on their channel, their official handle, with other cryptocurrencies. Seems like almost daily now. So Litecoin, definitely, we have a very strong place in the world, and I don't think it's going to weaken. I think we're going to keep growing. And it's just, slow and steady wins the race, when Bitcoin, I think in its arrogance in some ways is ossifying and might be, I think anyway, we'll have to watch. I won't say anything.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Everybody wants to push their own L2, their own ideas. And so they're fighting for position, right, in the space. Everybody wants to collect the fees, right? And if you look at the press, you were saying, like, when MWeb was released, it was released with a whimper. There was like one article on Cointelegraph that basically glazed over the fact that MWeb was released and focused on the fact that there were these exchanges in South Korea that decided,
which were the only ones on the entire planet that did anything about it.
Yeah, that was, honestly, I think that's what made me step up more and talk about it more in Litecoin spaces, because it was hard to see. It was like, man, this is obviously has Cointelegraph been captured?
Probably. Yeah, probably they have. Yeah, it's interesting. But the Litecoin community is very strong. We're a part of it. You're a part of it. We're here as long as we're here, and we enjoy the ride, even though, as you mentioned earlier, we've been through a few storms, or you said like battle hardened or something, which is all true. Like we've seen a lot of swings, and people have used us and yet like trodden on our product despite using it. That's why it's like, the Bitcoin conference is in the same town as the Litecoin summit, and like how many maxis are using Litecoin or have used Litecoin. I mean, we know Jack proved Lightning with Charlie. We have tweet evidence of that and everything else, transactions. Like they've all used it, and they probably still use it to a degree. Again, we have more stables now, but they know there's value there. They just don't speak of it yet. But yeah, I mentioned Leia, and I'm not here to torch people, okay? She doesn't listen to my show, but she kind of came out of nowhere the other day. I was like, oh, I used Litecoin and it was so slow. Like, what are you using? Like, there's immediate broadcast. with SegWit, and that's even with MWeb. You're seeing this immediate. Again, you didn't settle it or get a confirmation yet, but you've clearly seen the thing went through. Like, you never have to wait to see the transaction, right? And it's way better than Bitcoin. So
Right.
so how we just decide to highlight this wonderful fact that, oh, I use Litecoin, and because she's done videos in the past very pro Litecoin. Now it's been a few years
Which
now. But
Leia? Sorry,
Leah
I
Halpern.
didn't. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. She was talking
Yeah.
smack about it.
Yeah,
LTC.
yeah. It was like a little short clip about, about how Litecoin is so slow. And I'm like, and others were asking you, what are you using? What wallet are you using? Like this doesn't happen and everybody knows it, yet this messaging was chosen at that time to kind of send out. So anyway, Litecoin has some folks that, and again, I can't speak for Leia. She could have been totally genuine in that. And truly believes that Litecoin is slow. But to
Maybe she
me,
just had a bad experience and needs
to be nothing, whether you're a small account with 6 followers. I mean, even small accounts with 6 followers are created to push a narrative. So how much more for someone with 100,000 to 1 million? I mean, nothing is a mistaken tweet at that point. So anyway, we'll leave it go with that. But you can go find the tweet. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes about that video. But
I don't even want to see it.
we proceed anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe, I mean, it was good. I really enjoyed your walkthrough. I'm glad we got to sit here. Maybe we'll kind of close the episode up. Do you have anything that's like on your chest you want to get out, or just have some closing words for us before we end?
Well, yeah, I was hoping to talk about my S-crypt maximalism.
Do it.
Where it comes from. And I got into Bitcoin pretty early on. And actually I first started mining Litecoin because when I wanted to buy a Bitcoin miner, they were sold out. And I don't know if anyone remembers Butterfly Labs, but I ordered a Butterfly Labs miner. Worst investment in my life. It came in 2 years late. So in the meantime, after 6 months, I realized I wasn't getting my miner on time. I went out and bought a bunch of GPUs, and started mining Litecoin on it, because at the time you couldn't mine Bitcoin with GPUs, but Litecoin was still viable. And so yeah, I started mining Litecoin first, right? That was my first foray into crypto back in the day. So I always kind of liked Litecoin, and at some point I did get the miner and whatnot and started mining Bitcoin. But always Litecoin had a soft spot in my heart, and Dogecoin too. And so when the merge happened, I was pretty happy. I was a huge fan of the Dogecoin subreddit. I thought, the people there were just really wholesome. I liked how generous people were with, tipping and their sharing their knowledge and whatnot. I don't know if you remember that back.
Yeah, it was all about tipping. Absolutely. That was like the big use case.
Yeah, it was just, generosity and wholesomeness all around. And yeah, that's something I loved about it, and I try to do myself day to day. But still, so yeah, and then the block wars happened, and we had that chain fork with Bitcoin Cash happen, and I kind of became disenchanted with the whole Bitcoin narrative. I saw the censorship happen on the Bitcoin subreddit and all that stuff, and while I don't agree that it should have happened, I feel like Roger, I mean, maybe his heart was in the right place. They say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah, I feel that they broke Bitcoin at that point. They created an alternative location for miners to point to. If ever something were to happen with Bitcoin, heaven forbid, maybe there's no L2 that gets adopted widely. Maybe Lightning, it doesn't fill its promise. Okay, and that's enough for people just to use the bigger blocked version of it, which is Bitcoin Cash. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but whatever. There's an exit. There's a way for hash rate to fly. There's a place for hash rate to fly to in the event of a catastrophe. Whereas with Bitcoin and Dogecoin, I mean, rather Litecoin and Dogecoin, I should say, we saw the price of Litecoin tank and the hash rate increase recently. Prior to that, we saw the price of Dogecoin tank and its hash rate increase. So there's nowhere for the hash rate to go. The fact that there's two coin or currency ecosystems being, or at least two, I don't know how many there are now with the Bell's coin.
There's Bell's coin, there's Pepe coin, Junk coin, I want to say Lucky coin. I've lost track.
I don't think we recognize Lucky coin. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
I think it's actually Merge Mine, though. I think it is Merge Mine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. But I mean, it's okay. So Bell's coin has this whole thing with Billy endorsing it, which is really cool.
Oh, I love the story of Bells. Yeah. Bells is.
Yeah, I think
we like Bells.
Is legitimate. Pepe coin, I'm not sure too much. I haven't heard much about the narrative on that one. I don't know if it's as well known. But yeah, anyways, so you have all these coins that
I will stop you though, because the S-crypt miners benefit from all of them, whether they like them or not. They're benefiting from them. So even if it's a coin that nobody even knows exists, like, it's still helping miners. So
I shouldn't poo-poo Lucky coin, really. That's a little petty of me. I apologize to the community. But whatever. To finish my point, if Litecoin, for whatever reason, say it does get banned, say Trump's like, this MWeb thing, we don't like it. The CIA says it's being used for nefarious things by bad dudes, and we're blocking it on Coinbase. Okay. The hash rate's still going to be there, right? The price can tank, but who knows? Maybe, when the next leader gets elected, they turn things around. They're like, this was a stupid policy. Let's reverse it. At least, in that period, your coins, the chain isn't going to be attacked with the 51% attack. It's hard money. I truly believe Litecoin and Dogecoin and all the other coins, frankly, are harder versions of Bitcoin because of that. So that's why self-proclaimed S-crypt maxi.
I like it. I think S-crypt is really interesting. I support it. I mean, obviously Litecoin is leading the charge, and those other coins are merged to it, right? So it's still Papa, even though the others are contributing to some of the incentives to mine and, get miners and things like this. But I think it's a really neat system for the reasons you've already outlined, and also for just like perpetuity. Ultimately, we will see the last Litecoin or Litoshi mined, and then they're just going to circulate. Doge is forever on a fixed rule per block. Bells is somewhere in between, and I forget. It's way more inflationary than Litecoin, but it's not quite as inflationary as
it. I think, I'm not sure about that. I feel like because we're approaching the 5th or 6th epoch.
It's coming.
Where,
it's going to be like it's going to be like 2 or 3 bells per block or something like that. But I don't know if that's forever or what. It may be, but I just know it's inflationary, but it's not as heavily inflationary as as Doge. So there's like Dogecoin, non-scarce. Bells is non-scarce but more dear than Doge, and then the scarcest or the most limited or the one that's precisely limited is Litecoin.
With Dogecoin, the inflation rate somewhere around 3 or 4% per year right now.
And that'll diminish.
That percentage will diminish with every year, right? Because it's more inflated. It's a consistent supply. It's a tail emission. So
it's a tail emission. It's considered anti-inflationary, even though it's an inflation. It's weird. We get kind of lost in the language after a while. But because as the sea of Doge grows, the ripples become smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't see it as a problem. I think Doge is awesome. It's just that Litecoin's better.
Yeah, I'm clearly I clearly favor Litecoin the most, of course, but I think it is a neat ecosystem that, we have multiple cryptocurrencies holding hands at the mining level, benefiting the miners. And, and if you're going to talk about swapping or switching, if you're mining Litecoin, I mean, you're going to get paid all of those currencies, or the value is going to be there. You can just take the value in Litecoin versus, and to be fair, you could take all your value in, bells or something, but that's up to the miners. But again, I would be chasing the most scarce of all, right? And clearly, that's Litecoin. So, but S-crypt is cool. What Charlie did years ago with Doge folks, I think is still paying off. And I don't know what foresight he had at the time. I'm not Charlie, but seems to be a pretty wise move. Looking at it now, it's aged extremely well.
I would say so.
So I think it's pretty awesome. So, well, good deal. I appreciate you on that, and maybe we close it.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have had you. Folks, this is Animal. Find him on X at ANML_Litecoin. And of course, he is a co-host of the Populist Block. And he'll be at the Litecoin Summit at the end of this month. I plan to be there myself, God willing. There are no emergent situations that would prevent me, but nobody plans for those things. And thanks for tuning in. Of course, you can find this episode and all the episodes at 84million.com/podcast. You can find us on X, and we're streamable wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we're also on YouTube. So we appreciate all of our subscribers. If you don't subscribe, please do. And cheers. We'll bring you another episode soon. Animal, have a good one. We'll see you.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, sir.